It is very, very important today for your presence, your support. I think it's very important to recognize this with the whole depth because the war really speeds things up. The war really shows everything in comparison basically is measured very quickly. You start learning about, the true values quickly, the true people and the true partners. And therefore, of course, we're very thankful again for you to be here. And we're happy to be here together with you because everything in life comes down to people, to true relationships, to human relationships. And therefore, we're here to continue these relationships on a human professional investment and other aspects, and hopefully to do cool new deals together and to play a significant role in rebuilding Ukraine. And today, basically during our panel, we have a lot of interesting people who have a lot of interesting stories to be told. And just as a brief introduction, I'll introduce everybody and just have a few organizational remarks. But basically, today I'm very happy to take this 1 second to very quickly introduce, our speakers. From the Ministry of Infrastructure, we have Irina with us, and eventually everybody is going to, introduce more themselves and the organizations they're representing. We also have Volodymyr Shemaev, the Director of Office for International Projects of Ukrainian Railways, together with us. We have Yuri Filuk, who is the founder and CEO of Promprilat, a truly renovational, amazing project in Ivano-Frankivsk. We have Taras Demkura, who is owner of Atrium. As I told you, we have our guest who showed up as well, Roman Shimonov, CEO of Roshel Smart Armored Vehicles, and very happy for him to be with us as well. And we have Maxim Khadzeniuk, who's the head of International Department for CKS. And my name is Yuri Krivoshev. I'm a managing partner of Toronto Kiev and also member of the board of Canada-Ukraine Chamber of Commerce. And thank you very much for being here. And in terms of our format, the way we'll basically give a word to absolutely each participant, where each member of the panel will present themselves and as well as the project and the story for up to 5 minutes each. And then after short individual presentations, we're going into discussion, and we're going to have some questions, and hopefully additional insights can be shared. But before we start this, just very quickly, I wanted to say some of the main statements that already you heard today. Economic front is just as important as a military front, and this is not just a nice statement. All of us, we're on the ground in Ukraine, in Kiev, and in other cities, and we live this statement. We do these things. And the resilience about which you hear, it comes with a tremendous effort and attempt to adapt every single day, but it also gives birth to amazing creativity. And even new business models and new practices are being born. And basically, today, before the lunch, we had a very interesting success story panel, just to show you very concrete cases about what can be done and what is already happening. And I believe that basically every single member of the panel today carries his or her own success story as well, and that's why we're here together with you. And I will be just happy to pass the word now to Irina, who is joining us from Ukraine. And Irina, if you can please introduce yourself and the project, and just to share with us some interesting stories. Can you hear us, Irina?
Yes, I can hear you. Unfortunately, the sound is very poor and it is difficult to hear what you're saying correctly, but I understand that the floor is mine.
Yes.
And I can speak just for a few minutes on this conference. So just first of all, I would like to welcome everyone who are present there in person in Toronto. Unfortunately, due to the schedule, the part of our delegation was not able to be there with our colleagues from Ukrzaliznytsia, from UZ, Vladimir right now, and other participants. Nice to meet you here, but I will not take a lot of your time. Just a few words from my side on behalf of the ministry. And we would like to express our gratitude to the Canadian side for their support and interest in restoring the transport infrastructure of Ukraine. As you can imagine right now, it's one of the main and one of the crucial items here that we have to resolve. From the first day of the full-scale invasion, Ukrainian infrastructure became one of the main targets of the enemy. And according to the World Bank report, the damage caused in the transport sector of Ukraine amounts almost $30 billion, and the losses reached $26 billion. And of course, the needs for restoration are enormous. They are approximately almost $74 million right now. In particular, since the February, there have been destroyed or damaged thousands of kilometers of highways and railway tracks, 326 bridges and overpasses, and almost 50 railway bridges. In fact, from the first week of the full-scale invasion, we began to restore the infrastructure that is critically necessary for the defense capacity of the state, of the country, and the mobility of the population, and of course for the humanitarian needs as well. About 1,500 kilometers of roads have already been cleared. Passage through 61 temporary crossings has been provided, and 7 more are currently under construction. We also carry out major repairs of damaged bridges, and 44 of them are currently in process. Among the priorities in the restoration of transport connections in the occupied territories, in particular in Kharkiv region, about 450 kilometers of road and municipal streets were cleared. Also in the region, passage is ensured of 8 destroyed bridges and 6 temporary structures are being built. We are already working on the restoration of transport connections in the bilateral communities of Kherson region, for example. But the main, our goal is not only to reconstruct of the destroyed infrastructure, but also to create the modern and efficient routes and infrastructure in Ukraine. We understand right now that the comprehensive reconstruction of our facilities and infrastructure itself and the development of new logistic solutions cannot rely on the limited possibilities of the wartime budget of Ukraine. Therefore, we of course need the participation of international partners on the daily basis, all the time. For example, with the USA and Great Britain, we have already created working groups designated to work out models for attracting investments in the reconstruction of Ukraine. Also, we have already held the necessary consultations with the World Bank, EBRD, and EIB regarding their participation in reconstruction itself. In particular, the World Bank prepared their report, Ukraine Rapid Damage Needs Assessment, so-called RDNA, which gives us a clear understanding of the situation with the destruction of and the financial needs for recovery, reconstruction, and rebuilding. At the same time, we are already receiving financial assistance from the international financial institutions and have agreed that we will coordinate our actions in the future. In this context, we of course welcome the support and desire of Canadian business and companies and institutions and authorities to join this process, to be with us, to counterpart with us right now and in the future. In particular, I would like to welcome and to mention that we have made the decision for the cooperation with the Canadian Commercial Corporation from the ministry side on the effective and sustainable restoration of infrastructure of Ukraine. These actions, these efforts will promote cooperation with the Canadian companies as well. Of course, more specific projects we can discuss on a bilateral level with the direct opportunities and direct possibilities for both sides. So just not to take a lot of your time, like in general, to make a conclusion, we welcome everyone who can help us. We welcome everyone who can cooperate with us. We are open for the new connections. We are open for the technical and financial possibilities. And we do hope that our joint work will make everything possible to be in place and to be with us. So thank you from my side for this opportunity to speak on behalf of the ministry right now.
Thank you, Irina, very much. Irina, thank you very much, and we again appreciate for you being with us. We understand how tough it is, so thank you very much. And you basically made a beautiful kind of transition. I would be happy to pass it to Volodymyr as a colleague. And we have a short video. Volodymyr, would you like maybe for the video to be put now?
Thank you, Yuri. Thank you, Irina. If I may ask, Mr. DJ.
For video one, please.
Put up a video, just 1 minute, we need some energizer. Thank you so much. My name is Vladimir. I work for the Ukrainian Railways. It's called Укрзалізниця. And maybe you heard this saying, Укрзалізниця везе паляницю. This is the saying that Russians had hard times to pronounce. So basically it was a language test that from day one of the invasion, all the saboteurs or Russian troops failed to pass. But again, from the day one, Укрзалізниця did the turnaround and started working on the military bases, actually on the military rails, I mean. We launched the transportation of the humanitarian aid for free to the addresses of the regional state administration from the western border. We launched the services of the evacuation trains that evacuated more than 4 million people from the hotspots in the eastern Ukraine and then central Ukraine and from south, again towards the western border. We had to redirect the export flows from the ports on the Azov and Black Seas towards the western border again. And let me just disagree with Morgan Williams, who raised up an issue of inefficiency of the Ukrainian railways, maybe in general or in particular during the war times. I don't have even to comment on that, because people who live there, who actually had the chance, maybe the last chance to get evacuated from the hotspot, or the grain shippers who made shipments to Baltic ports or to Constanza, they realized that Ukrainian Railways was a reliable partner, which works on schedule, which runs trains on a daily basis with no cancellation and so on and so forth. Even after liberation of certain areas of Ukraine, like in Kharkiv to Izium, or Kherson or Mykolaiv, our Minister Kubrakov instructed our CEO to start the passenger service as soon as possible, so that people would feel that the Ukrainian government and Ukraine is there, and they can get access to passenger mobility, to visit their relatives, to visit their homes. So this is the part of the package that the Ukrainian government addresses when the certain area is liberated from the invaders. I'd like to mention two domains that we are currently actually executing in terms of reconstruction: immediate reconstruction and the long-term development. Today we're here with a colleague of mine, Oleg Yakovenko, who is the brilliant strategist of Ukrainian Railways, who has to design a strategy in the terms of uncertainty. And uncertainty is taking place every day. Just today, we had a very heavy shelling of energy infrastructure, railway infrastructure. Certain sections of the railways were cut off the electricity, so we had again to put diesel locomotives to pull the regional trains and then long-distance trains. So in terms of quick repairs, we cannot allow to wait 6 months, 12 months to get international funding or the material. So we do quick repairs by ourselves just to restore connectivity as soon as possible. Sometimes it takes 3 hours, sometimes it takes 3 hours, but on average, even the enemy did not expect that the railways will rehabilitate the track and catenary so fast. Of course, the power substations is a tricky one. They are produced individually, and the production may take up to 6 months or up to 12 months. So this is a tricky one. And here, in terms of quick repairs, what we need is that we're looking for the suppliers of the spare parts, of the components of the superstructure, like steel rails, so fastening systems, some catenary, for example. If there are some producers in Canada or North America, they are very welcome to start negotiation with our procurement team. In terms of the long-term perspective, we are thinking of actually converting part of our system or even establishing a new domain on our network with a standard gauge 1435, which is the common standard in North America, in Canada, US, European Union. On contrary, we've got the 1520 millimeter track and certain sections of the standard gauge within the territory of Ukraine, reaching out to Kovel, Vadul Seret with Romania, with Chop, with Slovakia, and Hungary. So the broad gauge is there, which it just consists very small percentage of the entire network. Therefore, the track equipment and the skills to maintain, to build, are in great demand. So here, Canadian companies, manufacturers, and railways can play a crucial role jointly with their U.S. colleagues. Here, I would like to mention that our Minister Kubrakov, jointly with the Minister of Transport Canada, launched the bilateral infrastructure group, which will have a first meeting today, right after this conference, with the aim to mobilize Canadian railway industry to work in a direct contact with the Ukrainian railways and with the Ukrainian Ministry of Infrastructure to identify what could be the potential areas for cooperation, maybe supplies, maybe some technical expertise to be transferred. And here I'd like to thank Transport Canada and Railway Association Canada with their distinguished members for actually accepting the offer to work directly with our company. And the last but not least, the new standard gauge will require new rolling stock. Locomotives, suburban trains, coaches for passenger services. And here again, we would love to work with the world leaders. We know that the Canadian Bombardier was purchased by Alstom, but still there could be some potential because we've been in a long discussion regarding the supply of the locomotives from Alstom, but we've got the office of actually Bombardier technical office in Kharkiv, which is still operational, and we are very proud of that. The people actually continue working there. So there's a number of areas where we can cooperate. We can start doing it now. If there are some companies that own the wagons, our government covers the risks for entrance of the locomotives, of the wagons on the territory of Ukraine. So it's guaranteed by the government, so that these companies should not be afraid of the wartime risks. So to finish my presentation, I'd like to say that we have a saying. We actually call 200,000 employees of our company iron people. Iron people in French, in Italian, it's more kind of natural, like ferros. Залізні люди, залізна компанія працює для того, щоб економіка і пасажири відчували розвиток. So Ukrainian Railways and its iron people continue working to run trains on schedule. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Volodymyr. Volodymyr, thank you very much. By the way, just to support and to complement what you're saying, being on the ground, we as Ukrainians see tremendous work that's being done, and we're sure that after our victory, a lot of movies will be even made because of your work, and a lot of even secret missions, which you'll think you'll learn in the future, because a tremendous effort is being done. I'm happy to pass the floor to Roman, whose company is already helping Ukraine significantly, and I think it will be just very interesting to share your experiences and how you're looking forward with your steps further.
Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Roman. I'm the founder and the CEO of Rochelle. Our company is a privately owned company based in Mississauga. We build armored vehicles, and we build more vehicles and already deployed to Ukraine more than all other countries and companies combined. And I think I would agree with the previous speaker by saying that the time is the key to failure or success. And everything that is coming into Ukraine is basically the key for the people on the ground to be able to react accordingly and to be able to find the right solutions. When it comes to armored vehicles, most of the expensive armored vehicles take time to build them. And sometimes it takes months to deliver only a dozen of vehicles. What we were able to achieve is to build 4 vehicles a day, and this basically was the key to success and to get all of the orders, not just from the Canadian buyers, but mostly from the European, from the Ukrainian, and from the American. And today we hire dozens of Ukrainian welders, people. We were able to create a very efficient supply chain with the ability to deliver the vehicles from Canada to Ukraine, and to create this communication and logistics that is extremely sensitive, and obviously we don't want the Russians to know. How do we do that? Because they will do everything to stop it from happening. So we basically found ourselves in a position where we support the Ukrainians with the real armored vehicles, even though their cost is about 25% of the real military ones, but they are the only solution right now to provide with the solution that is cost effective, that is based on military chassis, and it's not only to get the vehicle on the ground, but also to be able to support it. Because you can get the vehicle, and within 2 days, there is a mechanical issue, and as you've mentioned, if you don't have the part, that's it. The whole vehicle is just taking space, and you cannot do anything. So we were able to create this supply chain with the ability to create a hub where we are storing the parts, and to be able to fulfill and to execute different actions to bring the vehicle as soon as possible back to the battle zone. Now, this event is about rebuilding Ukraine, and I think now is the opportunity for companies like ours, privately owned companies, that have the opportunity to come there to establish a platform that within very short period of time, hopefully, when the victory will be achieved and the aggressor will be sent back to Moscow, I'm sure that the source of people, the source of knowledge that Ukraine gained throughout the last decades since 1991, I think the biggest source of highly educated people in Ukraine will allow us as a privately owned company to make even more money by having a very strong ground and platform in Ukraine, and to fulfill our future orders to all of the surrounding countries, Slovakia, Slovenia, Poland, Czech Republic, everyone understands that it's just a matter of time that it will happen. And luckily, I think we did the right thing, that we started now without waiting for mitigating the risk in the future. Anton is our vice president, is going next week to Kiev, and we're going to deliver another big batch of vehicles to DPSU, ZSU, SBU, different organizations back in Ukraine. And it feels nothing, just really proud to be a Canadian, to be as an Israeli. I served the Israeli army for many years. And as an Israeli, I know what it means to defend your country by understanding that you won't have another country. It's only one chance. You won't have a second chance, because the aggressor also will find any way to make everything to destroy it and to make it part of your Russian world, or back in Israel, the Iranian world, or other threats that we have over there. And I think that even though there is a very thin line between the ability to find a way to protect your country and understanding that there is no other chance, no other opportunity that will be given, and today is the only day that you guys, we guys, as a free nations, as people that can defend our countries, by doing what we're doing now, we're not defending Ukraine, we're defending our rights here in Canada. So I'm really proud that we're doing what we're doing, and thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. This is amazing, thank you, and this is also inspiration for everybody to keep on going. Maxim, I'll pass the floor to you, and please share your experience. I think it's going to be very interesting to hear as well.
Hello, do you hear? Yeah. Okay. So I will represent CKS company, and I would like to tell you why it could be profitable to cooperate with us and Ukraine all together. So CKS is a large metal structure manufacturer who produce steel structures for more than 20 years and delivers them to West European and North American markets. Our main areas of activities are design, manufacture, installation, and in recent times it is reconstruction of destroyed infrastructures. An integral part of our company is engineer department that performs the calculation and load-bearing metal structures design. Drawings are developed using 3D modeling. CKS includes 2 production facilities with a total area more than 60,000 square meters and equipped with modern fleet of technological machines. Our plants have full package of European certification documents that makes it possible to produce and supply to the European market building and bridge steel structures of any complexity. Also, I want to mention that last year we received Canadian certificates, and due to this we can supply our structures also to Canada. The bridge steel structures is a big direction of CKS production. In 2021, we supplied steel structures to construct the bridge in Zaporizhia. It's with a total amount weight with 12,000 tons. Our production capacity is 1,500 tons. We're one of the biggest company in Ukraine who can produce, who have such big capacity. Also, our company has a department that makes all erection works of any complexity, and it is equipped with all necessary tools and lifting machines. Already now we are carrying out the restoration of destroyed civil and infrastructure facility. Currently we are restoring the biggest shopping center in Odessa with a total area 50,000 square meters, which were bombed in May Also, we supply steel structures to railway and road bridges restorations. I want to tell what the benefits. The first benefit is the highest quality of our production, steel structures, which is confirmed not only by certificates, but also with the positive feedbacks from our customers all over the world. The second one is our production capacity, which gives us an opportunity to provide our customers with the shortest terms of delivery. The third benefit is raw material-based proximity. Despite everything, Ukraine occupies a worthy place in steel production in the world. The fourth one is optimal price, which is provided by a competitive energy resources cost and highly skilled workforce. And of course, fifth one is engineering. Our engineers have many years of experience that gives us an opportunity to achieve the optimal metal consumption in our projects. So, let's sum up. We are confident that Ukraine has a huge potential in investment and building a new modern economy. The driver of any economy development is constructions. Steel structures allow you to implement the project in the shortest possible time. We offer you to open the second front, the third front, the economic front right now by exporting our steel structures to North American markets. We are confident that this will be a reliable foundation for our mutually beneficial cooperation in restoring Ukraine. Thank you all for your attention.
Thank you very much, Maxim. Actually, what Maxim mentioned is one of the amazing opportunities for global expansion with international reputable partners, because despite the difficulties, we can compete globally, especially with the growing construction materials prices and energy prices globally. And I think a competitive edge can be granted by partnering with such companies. And speaking about continuity and to keep on going forward, I would love to pass the word to Yuri Filuk, who is the CEO and founder of PromPrilat, something that he probably will not mention about himself, but this is the most successful case of impact investing and crowdfunding at the same time in Ukraine, and the project which helps to build and to change society in general. Yuri.
Thank you. First of all, it's a big privilege to be here. Thanks for your interest and for your time. As Yura mentioned, we are first big impact investing project in Ukraine. We're situated in Ivano-Frankivsk, that's western part of Ukraine, and in the very center of the city. 5 years ago, step by step, we start reconstruct and renovate old post-Soviet Union plant into innovation center, and we are 40,000 square meters mixed-use real estate, but at the same time we are quite unique cross-sectional and multifunctional ecosystem, and we combine very different functions like offices for innovative companies, incubators, accelerators, R&D centers, business school, school of new profession, food market, multifunctional event spaces, hostel, hotel, co-living, and so on. And the idea of the project to create an engine for the whole region transformation, to help local talents realize their potential here in our city, and to unite the market with global markets, both in economical and cultural perspectives, and to help the city finally to reload from post-Soviet Union direction of development to modern one, and create a kind of model for the whole country transformation. And that's, if to speak about crowd investing model, so we managed to raise first $15 million from 1,400 people and organizations from all the regions of Ukraine and 20 countries, different countries. And that's really quite unique and interesting experience for Ukrainian projects. But at the same time, we also attract 4 million more from international partners, from financial institutions, and they help us to develop direct social functions, which is impossible to create now in Ukraine with direct business logic. And what is important for us, we have 40 international institutional partners, and one of them is the government of Canada. And that's why it's, again, pleasant to be here. And what is interesting that we've got already many interest both from Ukraine and internationally, and we've got even several awards. For example, UNDP mentioned us as the best and the best sustainable economical project in Ukraine because we use green building standards and the principles of circular economy. That's also important for us. And the Forbes mentioned us as the main driver of economy transformation of the region. And Ivano-Frankivsk 2 years ago was ranked as the best city for doing business in Ukraine even. And during the war, we became a home front for the country because we are in the west of, and it's more safe part for Ukraine. And what was important for us in this situation to be a community hub and to help in many different ways. To help the army, to support the army, to help the IDPs and organizations which had to move from eastern and southern regions of Ukraine to west or abroad. And what we try to do to keep as much as possible people here, because the most important potential of our country is our people, and we need to we can't wait the victory to start recovery and to start create new opportunities for realize these people themselves. So we decided to continue the development of the project, of our project after the invention. And right now we develop next big part of the project, and we already realize almost a half of them. But still we are looking for new partners, and we are open for cooperation, because the idea of us to create the model which can be replicable in all the regions of Ukraine, especially in eastern and southern cities which are destroying right now, because what we try to do again to create cross-sectoral community hubs, because it's very important to unite efforts of public authorities, business, and civil society to find common solutions how to survive now and after that, and even right now to continue to develop. And what I would like to say at last, I think that we have very unique combination of pillars right now in Ukraine, in business and in entrepreneurship area. So innovativeness, we have also speed, and as you could see today from many examples, we should be very fast now, and we should rethink and redevelop our business models. And at the same time, right now we have already no fear for globalization, and that's also important to be a part of global markets. And we have destroyed infrastructure, and of course that's a huge potential to create new and with new approaches. And I think that Ukraine now is one of the most interesting markets for developing new models, which can be after that spread up all over the world. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you very much, Yura. Actually, there is an interesting fact that Toronto, Kyiv, and Promprilat shares an additional collaboration. Recently, during the full-scale invasion of Russia, there was a significant investment from a very reputable Ukrainian IT company, who is my tenant in Toronto, Kyiv, and became one of the major investors in Promprilat. And speaking of success stories, this company, IT company, has a zero dependence on Ukrainian market in terms of revenues, but they fully staying in Ukraine, and they helping invest in Ukraine. So this is just not an abstract, but a very concrete example. If you create a business infrastructure for businesses, they will stay and appreciate and develop further. Our next speaker is Taras. Taras is very dynamic and amazing person. Takes an active role in many business organizations as well, and a very interesting entrepreneur. So Taras,
Thank you, Yuri. Very dynamical, very crazy, but this is my first speech in English. But I think this is better time for me. When war come in Ukraine, this is good time for new experience. More 500,000 houses and apartments have been destroyed in Ukraine. Will the conference going in Toronto, in Ukraine, about 100 rocket bombed in Ukraine now, today. The first target was maternity hospital, and first died was newborn born boy. We have stopped this together, and thank you, Canada. Thank you all for you. Thank you everyone who helped Ukraine in this very hard time for us. When war come in Ukraine, we, with my partner, Andriy Dligach, Alexander Vernik, Alexia Zoim, we organize cluster, Ukraine Wood House Cluster. We connect together all manufacturer tree, who product frame, barn house. The better time teach about this technology, Canada. But in Friday I have a special visit in my new friend John factory, who produce three modular house, not only modular house, but this good experience for us, for Ukraine. We connect more 50 manufacturers. We organize exhibition Budmol Center, big exhibition about model house. And all manufacturers may represent all model, A-frame or another, and people, thousand people come to us and look which technology, but for Ukraine this new technology. And why modular house? But this very quickly, eco, energy effective, and for Ukraine we need quickly decision. And we organize also donate organization for, we need help people. Our model house name Ukraine Women's. Sofia, Nadia, Vera, Stefania, and our women's very strong, very smart, and beautiful. Yes, thank you. And we representative, we also open a market for Ukraine manufacturer in Europe and United States and Canada also. I prepare a presentation. I sent you saw very nice our design style, and we need maybe together Ukraine and Canada together organize produce this our model house. We have special design Ukraine style model house, this very nice house, and we open Canada also for our production, and I have a presentation, I have catalog and flyer also, but thank you for your help, my speech, and thank you all. Thank you.
Taras, this is very cool, and thank you,
Yuri.
and thank you very much. And I think Taras definitely shows, how all of us continue to move forward and to develop in all aspects, personally, professionally, and that's why there are great opportunities. If you have a chance, please talk to Taras afterwards, because his project is very interesting. Right now, I would like to ask a few questions to the whole team. And I will start with Irina, if Irina is still with us, hopefully, because we know it's tough right now because of today's attacks. And to Vladimir, to kind of to ask to both of you this two questions. One, as we know, there is this strange infrastructural project, this Crimean bridge that was created by this evil enemy. Professionals say that it has nothing to do with infrastructure. It's more about symbolism, right? And maybe that's why it's not very fundamental, let's put it this way. And coming back to the railroads, to the tracks, to the size of tracks, many also refer that size as the kind of a symbolism of post-Soviet culture. But if, let's say, we get rid of it, is one of the opinion, and let's say we adapt quicker to international system, we get rid of that old legacy, but also we open a route to the new, everything logistics and business. And the question is maybe, what you professionals think about this, and how, if we do have international hub, how quickly it can be implemented. And the second question I think will be interesting, what incentives there are, and maybe what different tools for joint projects that are available. For example, like private-public partnership, the law of which exists, and maybe some other opportunities, instruments that international investors can count on when they come into joint projects. If Irina with us, or Irina can start, or Volodymyr, maybe you can start, and we can see if Irina can still join us.
Most likely there is no electricity right now in Kyiv, so Irina stayed at the ministry late night. Most likely she went home because it's already late hours in Kyiv. I will start with the second one about the incentives. During the previous sessions upstairs, there was a message that you have to invest probably from Sergei Tsivkach and some other colleagues. You have to start investigating your investments now. If you already have a feasibility study and a business case, you have to start investing maybe in the Western Ukraine with the one of Frankivsk or Lviv cluster, technical cluster. And railways-wise, the same thing. Currently, the cargo flows are redirected towards the European countries. There is a shortage of transloading terminal capacities for grain, for steel structures, for construction materials, for imports of diesel and gas. So there is a land of opportunities right now to build right next to for example, these small sections of the standard gauge, to build a terminal. Then an investor will address the Ukrainian railways to get connected to the railway link, and that will be a good project, very profitable with a high return and a very short time. There is also opportunity to start the wagon company, for example, the wagon operator. It is still not possible due to legislative ban on the traction companies for the private locomotives. But there is a market for standard gauge grain hoppers, for example, or tank wagons, flatbeds, to actually continue the supply chain from the Ukrainian border to the port. So this is the very right time to invest, even if it can be done, not even at the Ukraine, but at the country next to Ukraine, but still it will facilitate the traffic inward and outward trade flows. Regarding the first question, of course, the Crimean bridge is illegal. It doesn't have to be there. I think eventually there won't be a connection with the Ukraine, and that was the official position of our government. And for railways, doesn't have to do with that. But your question was about the turnaround of the entire network from the kind of old style 1520 to European or the international UIC, Union of International Railways, standard 1435. It cannot be done within 1 year or two, because just pay attention to the figures of the rolling stock that is designed and up and running on the broad gauge. Like more than 40,000 wagons in the private hands, and as the same size of in the operation of Ukrainian railways. So you cannot just cancel it within the short period. But at the same time, we have already started expansion of the standard gauge from the border of Ukraine with Poland, Romania, Hungary, Slovakia, inside Ukraine by rehabilitating the abandoned tracks, for example, from Dorohusk to Kovil, from Medyka in Poland to Mostyska, and then further there is an ambition to build the standard gauge track to Lviv. Then there is a project, there is a link to Chop, and that can be extended up north to Uzhgorod. And the last but not least, there is a small combined section to Vadul-Seret. This is connection with Romania towards port of Constanța, to go up north to all the way to Chernivtsi. So we can start with the small, like relatively small project to connect Europe with at least major cities of the western Ukraine, and then further expand it to Kyiv, to Kryvyi Rih, for example, to Mariupol. There is a trans-European network map that has all this information, and Oleg is currently working on a revision of the TEN-T network in Ukraine. So slowly but surely, we will implement this standard gauge in Ukraine, and here's the opportunity for the rolling stock producers, because we would need locomotive, we would need the rolling stock, the wagons, and the passenger carriers to actually work to transport cargo, either cargo passengers on this track.
Thank you. Thank you for such a long-term vision, which is important to have even today. And speaking about the long-term vision, as we learned from the success stories, with the help of Ukraine Invest, Kingspan is investing in Ukraine as well, because they have long-term vision in terms of production, and to have it to be like a hub, international hub, regional hub. And Roman, if I can ask you, in terms of your great effort that you're doing, which is amazing. We understand that even after our victory, the needs are going to be there. As local and regional, maybe international, will it make sense for you to establish such a serious HQ maybe, or production in Ukraine? Of course, there are security aspects and so on, but that might be an interesting as well local partnership.
Thank you. Yeah. So talking about the vision HQ, I'm not sure if this is the right
Regional one.
regional one. Yeah, probably. But I think that we shouldn't talk about the future, because the future is now. We should talk about what can be done now and not in the future. In the future, it will be too late. And we are lucky that the enemy over there is too corrupted, that he doesn't look. The vision is very limited, and the Russian propaganda is talking about the truth and honesty and everything, but they're doing exactly the opposite. And this, what I think allowed us and allowed the Ukrainians and everyone to get this success of not being able to be occupied within the 3 days as they planned. And I think in terms of vision, this is what gives not just hope, I think a vision without any doubts that will be over, and will be over in a nice way. And I think this also, as a businessman, as a visionary, every person should see the opportunity that is there. And in every business, the key is always the people. And I think it's all about people. It's all about people that can make the company a successful entity or a failure entity. And if I take the analogy with the army, and we have a Lieutenant Colonel here, Ted Opitz, that can support me on that. When you go to an operation, you should take each and every scenario that can go wrong, and you minimize the chances that something can go wrong. But when you go, you assume that you cannot take into account everything. There is always a chance that something will go wrong. And luckily, as we see with everything that is going on, the other side doesn't analyze everything in the same way. And this increases even more chances that the war will be over. Everyone understands that it won't happen today or tomorrow, but just a matter of time. And as business opportunity, I think that's the best opportunity, given the fact that we have the people, the right people with expertise, with the motivation, with ideology, with the understanding that it's worth to invest, not just from the ROI, from return of investment aspect of point, but also from the ideological. Because when you start something fresh, when you have this beautiful platform in Ukraine that left after Soviet Union and since 91 developed even further, with the people, with the right infrastructure, with the support that you guys are getting from all over the world, it's unprecedented in history that so many countries are supporting at the same time. And yes, it's never enough, but still this amounts, we just heard in previous panel how many billions of dollars are required to sustain the economy in 1 month alone. Is just unbelievable. Like, these numbers are crazy, and it will be never enough. But as mentioned, the SMEs is the key, and companies like ours, we understand, and I hope that many others understand, that that's the time to invest, that's the time to go and invest on a lower scale, without big exposures, with the people that are on the ground. Last thing, last statement. In my company, I have dozens of refugees from Ukraine that I hired, and I can tell you that each welder worth 10 or 20 non-Ukrainian welders. And it's not just about the, thank you. It's not about just the motivation, it's everything. It's about the expertise, the education, the background, the ability to think outside of the box. When you come with an issue and you talk about a problem, he won't think about how not to resolve. He will come up with an idea how to resolve it. And sometimes, you know, you need to spend thousands of hours and millions of dollars, but the solution is like, cost $2. And this is something I think that can be converted in a better way into something that can make money, that can create and generate the funds for the future Ukraine to become the leading country in Europe. Thank you.
I absolutely agree with you. I remember in Lugana I mentioned that I've seen myself cases where, because of our creativity that I mentioned in the beginning, we've been finding solutions that were 10 times cheaper and faster in terms of implementation, just because we put our heads together. And thank you for a comment in terms of people. And I just would like to jump to Yura very quick, because the first time I visited Promprilat, I met some of the tenants, some of the entrepreneurs, owners of SME, who said, well, I'm here in Promprilat, and because of Promprilat, I didn't leave Ukraine, because that gave me hope. So basically, and also because of things that Promprilat also implements, Ivano-Frankivsk as the city got the first place in Forbes a few years ago doing business in Ukraine. So Yura, if you can share your experience in terms of building that successful triangle between the local government, between the business community, between civil society, and just to show, because you're a perfect example of how this can synergetically work together, and of course that can have a scalability effect in Ukraine, and not only, because there is even in Austria or in others, beautiful examples.
Okay, thanks. First of all, I should say that when we start, we had this context of destroyed trust inside of society because of this long Soviet Union period. And what we realized, that we need to build this trust back, and step by step, and what is extremely important for us, to build it not just inside of comfortable bubble, because we live in different bubbles, but what is important, to create this cross-sectional cooperation between civil society, business and public authorities. And when we have this effective dialogue and effective cooperation, just after that we can move fast. And what is important now, that the war, that's a kind of the huge crisis, but at the same, that's a huge opportunity for us, because people had to unite faster, and the level of trust inside of Ukraine is much more bigger now. But what Promprilat helped to do, to start this process, not right now, but beforehand. And so step by step, first of all, we start build this connection between business and civil society, and after several years, with already the mayor and public authorities, and now it looks like really effective cooperation, at least in Ivano-Frankivsk, but it's possible to develop all over the country. And even now, even in such international stages, when delegates from Ukraine already represent different stakeholders. Now we are solid. Even 5 years ago, as for me, it wasn't like this. And that's really, really good progress in this field. And okay, it's not about, again, IRI or commercial some moments, but that's extremely important for economy development. And now we have this very huge progress in Ukraine in this field.
Thank you so much, Yura. Thank you. We're running short on time, but since you've been dealing with the penetration of agriculture session, we'll be happy to hear your question.
Yeah, of course. Very simply, there's a lot of powerful people in this room, and I think it's a waste to listen to the stories, okay? Because a lot of people here would like to hear concrete answers, okay? And they came here with certain expectations, okay? So to me, I'm a builder. To me, black and white, okay? And I watch the Ukrainian news like everybody else here, day and night. So I know what's needed. What we want to know, what's Ukraine needed right now? We understand railway, correct? I'm not sure what the gentleman to the left is looking for. And I understand what this gentleman does in the middle, as they are Roman. I'm very confused of the gentleman second from the right, because I'm not sure what business is he in and what he is looking for. I understand Taras, because I already explained to him with 2 pictures what he is looking for. So I think all of us have a little bit more of a question to basically to set our expectations in the reasons we came here. If anybody has a question, they should ask the question.
Thank you for your remark. And just for your information, one of the ideas of our panel as well was to actually give a chance to the people who came to represent the stories, and afterwards to spark a positive conversation afterwards. That's why we're here, physically came here as well, so that this is to be continued, because the matter of our relationships does not finish on this panel, and I think we're here to develop synergy together. So. But thank you for your remark, and actually my question was to Maxim, taking consideration that Maxim came here and we spoke very briefly, and has his particular hopes out of this visit and the meetings that are important. So I wanted maybe to ask Maxim what you're expecting out of this visit.
Yes, you see, right now we are stand of survival. Our business, for instance, we don't think about profit, anything else. We think about survival. Before the war, a lot of entrepreneurs in Ukraine don't look abroad. They work in Ukrainian market. It's very hard to find a customer abroad. It's very difficult for them to explain your benefits. And right now is the best time to find the customers abroad. The main idea of everything this, it is to Canadian markets open the doors for Ukrainian business. Canadian market is very closed for inside companies. It's quite difficult to be here and try to sell our goods here. We, for instance, can give an optimal price, a good quality, and so on. But companies is better to find somebody from Canadian markets. So the main thing what I want is that to support Ukrainian companies with exporting their goods, and this will be our reliable communication in the future. In the future, somebody from you want to restore some building in Ukraine, and he will try to find a reliable partner there in Ukraine. But he already will have this partner while starting to working with him right now, not waiting till the end of the war and restoring something at the end. We can, for instance, right now export our steel structures to Canada for your building structures, for instance. Yeah, after the war, you want to rebuild some building in Ukraine. You need some construction companies there. You don't know companies in Ukraine, but you know that, okay, there is a guy which deliver me steel structures. Everything was in term, everything was good. I can work with them, and it will be reliable, our communication, cooperation in further Ukrainian restoration. So it is the main point of my visit here to open the Canadian market for Ukrainian goods. because it's very important now to give salaries to Ukrainian workers who stay there. Our productions goes down to maybe 80%. 80%. From the March till April, it was closed at all. Nobody works, everybody afraid. Nobody wanted to build something. But day by day, month by month, we grow our confidence in everything this. So it's my point of view of how it could be right now.
Thank you, Maxim. And something I would like to say, and if somebody has a different opinion, disagrees, I would like to ask you to state it. But I think we're coming from Ukraine. We're diversified because we have to right now, and we also are flexible because we can change or tune our project in the way it is needed to a potential partner, to a potential investor here. And this entrepreneur approach helps us to be really flexible to cater to the partner's needs. And therefore, I think it will be very important if after the panel there are going to be follow-up discussions in order to exercise that flexibility. And I don't think that anybody now has any kind of rigid formula, and I think we can find different opportunities, right? Anybody wants to take it?
I think we should, can you hear me? Yeah. I think we should give the people to ask questions because, given the fact that we don't have enough time.
Okay.
We'll go for one or two questions maximum because I have to keep track on time just to respect everybody because we'll have another panel as well.
Yuri, and if you don't mind, I would like also to be clear with our needs. They are very simple. We are looking for equity investments. We are looking for also debt financing and grant support because we have social elements inside of our ecosystem to finalize the project in Ivano-Frankivsk and potentially to find partners for scaling up.
What's the entry check? To consider.
How much? So it's around $20 million debt financing, or maybe we can talk about equity again, because we are flexible, as Yura mentioned, and we.
What technology for what?
Real estate, commercial real estate.
Mixed use real estate development. Kind of like EB5 program in the United States.
I just would like to turn to the floor. Does anybody would like to ask a question?
Is this on? Yeah. Morgan was very critical this morning of the state-owned railway. I encourage anyone to read the corollary of that, a feature in the New York Times Magazine this Sunday, which gave a glowing endorsement of the railway, the resiliency of the railway, the effectiveness of 200,000 employees during the war. So if you want to know, read the New York Times Magazine about the Ukrainian railway. My own experience was traveling from Poltava to Kyiv at twice the speed of any passenger railway in Canada, so I think we have nothing to teach you about running a railway. My question is this. This morning, you can teach us. This morning, the panel was asked towards the end, that was the associations panel, what policies do you think need to be adopted to move forward? Unfortunately, nobody addressed the 800-pound gorilla in the room, and I think it's on everyone's mind here. What do you think needs to be done to advance the rule of law to ensure that when hundreds of billions of dollars come into your country, that they do not end up in corrupt pockets? What changes do you think that need to be done to the rule of law in Ukraine to give this room confidence that the money will be spent well, because it hasn't been over the last 30 years?
Thank you. Vladimir, would like to start?
Yeah, I'll try to respond to this question. It's a very overarching, not only to railways, but probably to the Ukrainian government and politicians as well. So if I would speak about Ukrainian railways, we have not received international financing other than the loans from international finance institutions that were reprofiled from the previously planned infrastructural projects. And we do all procurement according to their procurement guidelines, be it the European Investment Bank, EBRD, or the World Bank. I think our government and our presidential office are currently designing a mechanism how to jointly with the international community to create the trust funds that can be transparent enough to track every penny sent to support the Ukrainian reconstruction. And I think the sponsors, the donors, will have a skin in the game, and they will be closely monitoring how this or that the donation is spent. So I don't have like a very universal recipe how to do that, but from our understanding, we've got a relatively good national procurement system, which is fully electronic now, called Prozora. It's received even some awards in Europe. So it's pretty competitive, like the corporations do, the outsourcing through the e-portal. So hopefully the victory will be soon, and then we develop those trust funds and bilateral relations and design through the democracy, through the rule of law. We will design such a system that would satisfy the requirements of international partners, and most important, the people of those countries who actually pay the taxes and support Ukraine. So thank you everyone for supporting us. And as our CEO says, Alexander Kamyshin, we don't care who our enemy is. What we do care is who our partners. And we are grateful to you for having you as a partner of Ukraine to help us jointly prevail. Thank you.
Thank you. And
first of all, please don't take this remark that I mentioned before as an offense. Just trying to help all the others here that are sitting here. That's the reason. First of all, Slava Ukraini. I'd like to ask one question, because most of the people, I'm in Ukraine since 1991. We were the first one that introduced Canadian housing to Ukraine, in Kyiv, Lviv, and other places, okay? So I know how to business in Ukraine. We have still had 460 people working out there not that long ago. But how does the Canadian guy, or Canadian company, I should say, no offense, ladies, start the business? Where do they go? Who do they go to here to say, look, I'd like to invest, and who am I here to talk to? Do I talk to Canadian government? Do I talk to Roman in the middle, because he's the safest guy out there of what I see, with the armored vehicles and all this stuff? But how do we go about business here? Now, the question that everybody will be asking themselves here, correct? Thank you.
thank you for your question. I would like to pass, if possible, Yuri, you answer partially this question. I'll explain why. But also, we had a beautiful DIA presentation and other instruments that facilitate and speed up those processes in terms of even launching the company. And from practical experience, I can tell you that today you can open the company within a day without any issues whatsoever, and you're going to be very much welcomed, and red tape is cut to the minimum. But why I would like Yuri to answer this question is because that kind of relates to the first question as well, because you have another implemented instrument by uniting, the government and business together, from pre-let advances without corruption, without all these stereotypes. And plus, there are a lot of SMEs and there are a lot of international people coming who would like to open their company. And if you can explain how, this can be as a platform, one of the examples.
So as I explained before, we combine, we unite different stakeholders in the project. And for example, in our pilot stage, we have representatives from NGO sector, a lot of business, of course, and the office of investment department from city council moved to us because it's more comfortable position to build cooperation with business and other projects. And that's like a proof that it's possible to build this cross-sectional cooperation, and that provides additional safety, because the project is structured from the very beginning due to international standards, and we have support from government of Canada, as I mentioned before, and the government of Sweden, for example, and many reputable business, just reputable business, because we have also compliance. We don't accept gray, for example, capitals inside of us. So it's possible to build transparent business in Ukraine right now. I'm sure with it because of our experience, but still I agree with you. There are some risks, and so we are under transformation. So we have still this some elements of corruption, but every country has. But the question of limit of it, yeah, and how it impact and influence on the try to build something. Of course, I think it's a good idea to build something in Ukraine together with some partners whom you already know and whom you trust. And if to speak about Ivano-Frankivsk, we act as an informal agency and a lot of investors, not for our project, but in just who are interested in the region, very often come not to the mayor or to the city, but to us directly and explain how it works, and ask for recommendations. And again, this cross-sectional trust is very helpful to find better first steps, at least to analyze and start first step, and step by step to continue. Yeah, so agree, it's not still the best country. It is. Okay, sorry. Starting from now, it is okay. Okay.
So maybe a very practical one. So if your investment is about $12 million, you go to Sergei Tsivkach, ukraineinvest.gov.ua. If your amount of investment is smaller, you go to the mayor of the city in which you're planning to open a factory or a firm, present your project just to get kind of the public support, and then you hire a local legal firm which will create you a statute, registration, and all this stuff through DIA, electronic system, or just kind of a direct registration, and then you will be all set. It's kind of very easy. But you as a professional and experienced entrepreneur know for sure that you have to ask like 5 people at least to do a 360 analysis to understand where to go, what could be the risks and opportunities.
Thank you very much. And I just would like, before wrapping up, because we're really out of time, I just would like to provide another portion of an answer to the first question. We, as Ukrainian entrepreneurs and business people, we unite together. That's why we have CEO Club. That's why we have many other business associations. And trust us, right now, since we also participate in defending our country in all aspects, literally, immediately we have a voice and we say something if something is wrong, and the speed of reaction right now is very quick. So I also would like to suggest, in addition to what has been stated, in terms of uniting together, and I think just kind of moving to the closing remarks, it's very important to unite together, and that's why we're very thankful that you are here, because it's not only about collaborations for further partnerships and IRRs and income, it's also by being together, we are going to be a true subject at the table where the new rules of the games are going to be formed. And we can achieve only if we're going to be consolidated together with your international help as well. And by the way, speaking of international help, I would like to thank again very much our sponsors, and as well, Ella from Foskin and PwC, for everything that is happening today and all the efforts. And coming back to what should be done in terms of Ukraine right now, you heard this many times, it's a matter of doing business now, but since the new rules of the games are going to be formed right now, you have a chance together with us to participate in forming those rules of the games. I said it in 2016 that during Business Forum that Ukraine again has a chance for first mover advantage. Well, that was a different system of coordinates. Now we have the chance again. So the earlier you come in, you will be able to exercise together with us this, first mover advantage, which will give a lot of different benefits. So it is definitely, time to act together, and we're very much looking for. And thank you again for being with us. And I would like to thank all of our speakers and for all your time staying with us. Thank you.